high.
Yeah, absolutely. The pressure to perform is phenomenal for guys. I think women come into it with the expectation of like, I'm going to be made to feel good, and men come into it like, I gotta put it down. So I think it's two different mentalities.
Yeah.
Going into. So to his point, it's like that pressure sometimes can make it difficult to really be in the moment and sometimes even perform. Hey, what's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Faye Podcast, brought to you by your host, Brandan. I finally remembered to do it after my name, and of course,
hey y'all, Ciandra.
And we are back for episode 99. Say that's the name of this episode.
Make him say
Make him say Make sure I write this down so I don't forget.
I feel like that could lead someone to thinking that it's sexual. Was make him, or was it a sound of pain?
I don't think it was sexual. It wasn't like this wasn't aimed at him.
I don't think it was aimed at women. So it's
it was like make him say ooh. I don't know. That's a good question. We need a true story or something. We need like a story behind like what does that actually real mean? Maybe it's already out. I just haven't caught it yet. But I'm just, if you know, you know. Make them say Make them say So we're back for another
episode. Before we get into the episode, we are taking a break. My birthday is next week.
Yeah,
and we're taking a break.
We're gonna be gone.
You need to build anticipation for the 100th episode anyway.
Yeah.
So get your mind right.
Yeah.
Tell somebody, I know 100th episode coming out. We got a special reveal.
Yeah.
Juicy.
Mm-hmm. So special. We don't even know what it's gonna be.
It's gonna be revealed to us. We're gonna have a live unboxing.
Yeah, an unboxing. You know, so
on the 100th episode.
We got mail, y'all. So we're gonna.
You've got mail.
They requested that we unbox it during the episode. Hopefully, it's nothing wild, but if it is, the power of editing will make sure that that won't be an issue.
Wild like what? Like butt cheeks?
Yeah, like you're sending some pair of butt cheeks or like
I'm giving you my ass to kiss.
Or a gigantor
phallic
device.
Not device.
It's a device. It's a device.
Okay, mister.
One perhaps even call it torturous after a certain length. But so before we even get started again, I need y'all to go ahead and hit that like and subscribe if you haven't already, because we trying to get our subscribers, we trying to get that first hundo. You know what I'm saying? We in that mid 70s right now. Last I checked. We're trying to get to that, that first hundo. That's our first goal. So with y'all liking and subscribing, specifically the subscribing part, we really appreciate it. And if you like it as well, it'll help push it out to a wider audience so we can in turn get to the 100 and 10 to the 1,000 and then plus faster and quicker. And I know y'all love us, so go ahead and support. That's how y'all can show us support. Also, if y'all want to, feel free to shoot us some Cash App money, but why not? Donations. That's going to be a sound effect soon. Donation. That's the Dr. Umar donations. So we can go ahead and upgrade, our facilities. You know what I'm saying? So we can continue to give y'all some, better and more quality content.
I'm with it.
All right. That being said, I have the power today, and I'm bringing in a couple of clips. So we're gonna start with the first one
from TikTok.
No, this is not this one. That's not from TikTok. This one is from IG.
Remix.
Yeah, this is from IG. Hold up a second. Let me make sure. Not saying and
tendency where like shit really do bother me a lot, but I will play like I'm unbothered.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's beneficial. I know you want a reaction. I don't want to give you one. Like you cussing at me, you yelling, you going crazy, right? You telling me about myself, whatever you want to do. I can argue with you, or I can tell you how I feel about what you're saying. Or I just leave you alone. Leave it alone. And I usually choose to just leave it alone because the ceiling for where it could go, if I match your energy, I don't want to deal with that. It's not even to like pretend or to save face, but just literally so that shit don't get out of hand. I would rather act unbothered because a lot of times my feelings be hurt.
Do you feel like that's equivalent to like bottling things in almost?
Yep. And I know that's unhealthy. It's like the lesser of the two evils for me. Like, what happened if I don't bottle it up? If I attack everything that attacked me, you meet me and I'm fire with fire, we will burn this shit down.
When I first heard him start to speak, I thought it was going to be more along the lines of, I'm unbothered and I won't engage with people who I don't feel like are worthy of engaging. And I do feel like there are men like that. Like, if I don't argue with you, it's because I don't even care enough to argue with you. Like, I'm not going to engage with you. I don't think that it's worth it to even get to that space. Me expressing my feelings to you doesn't mean anything to me because you don't mean that much to me. So, like, the first argument, I'm out, because why would I choose to engage with someone who, one, is I don't see, going the distance anyway, and two, is bringing strife into my life. Like, you're allowed to be in my space as long as it is beneficial to me, or you're allowed to be in my space as long as it is not problematic. As soon as you start to bring problems, that's my cue to exit stage left. So that's more so where I thought he was going, and something that I feel like, I don't know if I've experienced firsthand because I'm not really the arguing type, but I do feel like I've heard men say, like, I only argue with people that I care about. Like, I'm only willing to argue with someone that I care about. So, like, would I prefer not to? Of course. But if we get into a space where we're actually arguing, like, know that that is a reflection of me being willing to engage, and is a good thing. But, like, I guess is a credit to how much I care about you.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. Not saying that necessarily is the right way of go about doing things, but yeah, I definitely have heard similar sentiments. And yes, I think I'm trying to think back. Pretty sure I've done that before in like previous encounters. Let's go with that.
Oh, sounds like an escort.
Yeah. So it was so.
Did y'all hear that chuckle? Y'all were escorts to him in the past. That's unfortunate. Wow. I'm sorry, sis.
You said that. Damn, that's crazy. I ain't say none of that. I'm just saying that, like, I understand the like, I don't even care enough about, like, this is not anything I care about, so I'm not going to engage and invest that emotional, mental, load onto it to make it out of anything. So I definitely hear where you're coming from that. Hearing him say this, I'm like, damn, like, he's speaking kind of a lot of facts in general, but like but he's also speaking from this happens to me when I am in relationships. And I'm like, on one hand, I want to be like, like my singles before, we've been in this relationship and I had, this growth and understanding and stuff like that, more understanding. I'm like, yeah, I agree with you. Like, it's definitely lesser of two evils. I can understand where you want to be. Like, I'm just going to kind of keep the peace, because I can recognize instances even now within our relationship where like my first instinct is like, I'm not going to say anything because I don't really want where this could go if I bring it up, because then we have to have a conversation about this. And I was like, I don't really want to do it. So I'm just not going to say anything. I've gotten better about that since we've been in the relationship, but it's also made me realize that, like, if you can't have that conversation, that's more of an indication of like that relationship is probably not a good fit for y'all. Like, if you get to a point where like you can't even have a conversation, you can't communicate that something is bothering you, that something that she did or something that she said is bothering you, and you can't bring that up because you feel like as soon as you do, it's going to lead to some wild shit, or the fact that the energy, like he said, the energy that she came at you with, in order for you to like be able to communicate, like to come back at that, you got to like match that energy. And the energy is so bad that you don't want to do that because it's going to go somewhere. Like, I don't think if that happens to you, I don't think that's a relationship that's definitely a relationship you need to reevaluate the efficacy of. Like, is this something that you want to be in? Do you want to be in a relationship where like you are pretty much trapped as soon as emotions get high? Like, she comes at you at a certain tempo. Now you feel like you can't say anything because you don't want what comes with, with that. And if you come with that same energy, it's just going to be a shit show. So if that's the case, like, why does that make sense?
I hear that. I guess the other thing that I think though is there's a certain amount of self-awareness that goes along with knowing that you are choosing not to engage. But there's an another level of self-awareness that will, or I guess like emotional maturity that will allow you to respond without matching the energy.
Facts.
I think that to me was the thing that was like, that's a choice too. Like,
yes, also very
in
true.
choosing not to engage, you have a choice. But the only other, or I'm sorry, this is a multiple choice question. The options are do nothing. The options are de-escalate the situation. The options are match energy with energy. The other option is a mixture of all of the above. Like, there are options here, and I think for him, it sounded very polarizing. Either I'm gonna do nothing, which is the safe option, or it feels like the safe option, or I'm gonna meet you at 10. And there are other options that exist, and then not recognizing that there are other options. I think that some of the accountability in the situation is on him. Like, I think
I agree with
it's
that.
easy to say that the person who is at 10 is the aggressor and the person who is wrong in that situation. But often that person is giving an emotional reaction based off their emotional intelligence at that particular point in time. It doesn't mean that they aren't accountable for their actions. It just means that, like, if you think the only response is to match them at 10, you probably have some growing to do as well. Don't just make it like that person is the problem. Like, if she's doing this, this is the problem. Or if the other partner is doing this, they are the problem. If you can't figure out how to address it, adjust to it in a way that could be potentially healthy and helpful, then you are also a part of the problem. And even, I mean, as we're talking about this, I'm thinking about the Queer Ultimatum.
I had the note right there. I was just about to say it.
Okay, so if you haven't watched the Queer Ultimatum, it's a show on Netflix that involves 5 different couples that go through an experiment. A part of the experiment is that they have trial marriages. So they spend 3 weeks with a person who is not the partner that they showed up with. And then they spend 3 weeks with their original partner, the person that they showed up with. And then finally they make a decision about if they're going to get engaged to the person that they showed up with, engaged to someone else, or leave the experience single. So that's...
First of all, the ultimatum, like, the ultimatum is like somebody in the partnership wants to get married, and the other person was like, didn't want to, or for whatever reason. So they gave the ultimatum like, hey, marry me, or like
our relationship
is over. And then that's where they come into the experience and do the things that she's talking about.
Yeah. That was an important recap. So the trigger here in my mind, okay. So I thought of 2 couples. In terms of the person who is more emotionally explosive, I'm thinking of Mildred.
Oh my God.
And the person who is
like the shutdown.
Yeah, I'm not going to engage. I'm going to walk away from this situation, is someone named Aussie on the show. And so I feel like the same is true for Aussie. Like, my only option is to sit here and take it. Like, I can't say anything, right? Like, when they're at the table, they have this argument in front of a friend, and while they're in front of the friend, she's like, I don't want to sit here and take it. Your feelings are BS. Like, you're not listening to how I feel. What about me? You know what I'm saying? So I think for her, the options are either I sit here and take it, or while I'm sitting here and taking it, I have to try to draw attention back to me to get sympathy, or I'm gonna walk away. That's it. She doesn't see that Aussie doesn't see that there is another option for how they can engage. And the fact that there isn't another option in their mind is why they keep in this cycle.
It's an indicative of just like their, I'm gonna say like their demeanor, no, but just like the work that they need to do. Right? They didn't see the option of just like coming back, being like, hey, no, this is not. This is in fact. This is how I'm feeling. Da, 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 da. Let's like break that down. And that's one of the journeys that she has to go throughout that whole series. I think who was really good at that? Was it
Mal?
Mal? She was fucking phenomenal, except for her own stuff apparently. But yeah. So you raised like a really good point of like for him, like he is only on some either attack or just be silent and just kind of take it on the chin. There are other options to explore when it comes to expressing your feelings and your frustrations and what have you with your partner. Yeah, and the fact that you only see 2 options, is kind of a, like you say, it is a kind of a indicator of just like the type of relationships that you know, like that. Like
well, that was the other thing that I was thinking of is like not only the type of relationships that you know from your firsthand experience as an adult in romantic relationships, maybe the type of relationships you saw in your childhood, how your parents related to each other, or how your parent and a partner related to each other, and even to me a little bit like your own parent to child relationship, like your relationship with your parents and feeling like
you can't say shit.
Yeah, like people was yelling at me, telling me what to do, and I didn't have an opportunity to say anything. I didn't learn or have an opportunity to practice sharing my emotions and how I feel about things. So
That's kind of big.
in response, bottle things up.
I get that.
You know what I'm saying?
No,
like,
I get that.
I think the same is true for Aussie. I mean,
we know her story. Yeah, she was like, yeah. Whew.
It was very apparent that like her reaction to Sam was not solely based in that moment.
Nah,
like
she was
it
flashing
was not,
back. Like
it was not me and you having a conversation right now. It's the entire history of any other time in my life I felt this way, or someone talked to me this way, or something happened and I was the person who was to blame. All of that is wrapped up into how I feel about how you're talking to me, or what you're saying to me, or the way that you're saying it to me. All of that is kind of triggered, tied to a past experience. And until you resolve how you feel about that past experience, until you heal from how you feel about that past experience,
you're gonna fall back into the response that you made, that you're used to making, that you've become accustomed to back in the day. For in Aussie's point, it was like, I feel trapped. I can't say anything. I can't do anything. It's all my fault. No matter what I do, run.
I mean, I think even the fact that her origin is in Australia, clearly in America, that's how much distance did you want to put between you and your family? How about thousands of miles?
Literally the other side of the world.
How about different time zones?
Several, like all of the time zones.
How about I make sure that they don't have access to me?
Like they don't even know I'm gay.
Yeah, like how about all of these things? You want to talk about leaving? You want to talk about running away?
She's a runner. She's a track star.
Y'all
should watch it. Y'all should watch it. She got me pulled into it. I wasn't interested, but I was watching it. And it was interesting. It's good
for
commentary.
Us to have commentary.
Yeah, it is.
And honestly, at the end, after we watched that reunion, I was like, "Oh my God, I love you."
Yeah,
and I'm so grateful that we don't live this lifestyle.
Bro, yeah, it's a lot of people out here who are in relationships, and you're like, "Hey, yo, this is what." Whew. And I think what was Aussie and Mildred, they had the trial. And boy, Mildred ran through her. Boy, she got PTSD flashbacks. Every time someone raised a voice in her vicinity, she's ready to go. I'm
Deer
gone.
In headlights.
Gone.
Also, when she got back with her original partner, and her original partner mentioned Mildred's name.
Oh yeah, she's like, "Don't say her name. You fucked up."
She
my God.
left.
She was like, "I'm gone. I'm going." You like, I need you to never say her name in my presence. I'm like, hey.
Yeah. Goodness. Who? Wild times.
PTS motherfucking D.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's crazy as hell. Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, so I think a lot of times our responses to conflict are, well, a lot of times, most of the time, I would say damn all the time, our responses to conflict are reflective of how we were allowed to manage conflict when we were young. I think you said something like, when you, as a kid, maybe he didn't have the opportunity or he couldn't do it. I was like, I definitely identify with, and I think a lot of people, especially in the Black, community, can identify with, as a kid, you have no rights. You have no agency. You're not allowed to talk back. Yeah. And if you do, you have to do it with like the quote unquote utmost respect. And the quote unquote utmost respect is not like a standardized like line. It is dependent upon whom you're speaking to.
And their mood.
Yeah. So like you can like make a great point and like you'll be right, but you'll be wrong. And then so that is not something that a kid would grow up and be like, okay, this is like a healthy interaction I just had. So I think we are taught a lot of times that when it comes to our elders and especially Black women and stuff like that, it's just pretty much, if you have an issue, if you think they did something wrong or you were frustrated with something they did or said or what have you, shut the fuck up and just kind of don't say nothing, because you can't. If you do, it's going to be like, you can't talk to me like that. You got to show more respect. Like to me, you kind of got. So it's like, well, I'd rather not.
Child's place.
Stay in the child's place.
I hated staying in a child's place.
I was a smart ass.
Me too.
So I talk back and like I would be right, but like that made it worse because like who they don't want to be. They don't want to like be.
You
they
can't
don't want to
sum
look
me?
stupid. Yeah, you don't want to look stupid by a 10-year-old who caught them in some stupid inconsistency, and they're like, this don't make any sense. But it definitely is an experience that teaches you to kind of just mind your own business and just be like, kind of just, I'm just not gonna say nothing because it's not worth what it's gonna bring. I can't correct you because I don't. Then we're having a conversation about how I'm being disrespectful, and I can get my ass whooped or something behind the shit. I'm not. None of this shit is worth my ass getting beat. So I'm not gonna say anything. And then you speed that up by 10, 15, 20 years, and then you're in a relationship, and in your mind, that's kind of how you go about it. It's like that maybe the ass beating may not be there, but like you imagine like a talking to, it's going to come behind you expressing your frustration or you expressing a negative experience or what have you with your partner. So it just is not worth it. And it takes interacting and being with people, and whether that be friends and and also and within dating, where you kind of learn or relearn that it's possible to have like a logical conversation that doesn't require you yelling or you having to do mental gymnastics in order to kind of come up with some sort of solution or trying to find a resolution. And when you finally realize that, that's like, oh my God, like, it's like the wool got pulled over your eyes. Like, yo, this world exists. Like there exists a world in which like I'm allowed to be angry or frustrated by something and speak on it and then be heard and understood. And then like changes are made and that's okay. Wow. But I know that a lot of people don't to this day don't have that experience or have had that opportunity. And that sucks.
It does suck. It definitely sucks. I don't know. I guess I feel a little bit like there is some unlearning or relearning to do on both sides. Like on the side of the person who in this situation or case is the aggressor, they have trouble expressing what it is that they're feeling, right? Like Mildred and all of her wildness and woundedness, it was very clear that like she did have issues. She did have things that were concerns for her, but her ability to accurately articulate what those concerns were was the problem. And then her desire to escalate, like if my concerns are not being met, I'm gonna throw something at you. Like
I'm gonna get louder and I'm gonna come harder.
Yeah.
And then if that happens, I'm just gonna continue. Her thing is escalation.
Yeah. If I'm not getting what I want, I'm gonna keep poking and prodding with the hope that I get what I want. But I guess I'm curious to
get what I want in the way that I see it.
Yeah. I'm curious to what you think the solution is for both ends of the spectrum. So like the person who wants to get what they want escalates aggression, and the person who shuts down chooses not to match energy.
Like what is the solution for the one who escalates, like how they can get what they want without blowing up at people? I think they need better vocabulary, maybe a little bit more insight into what it is they hope to get out of blowing up. So blowing up is a response to something. So it's like, so for her, it's whether like she feels unheard, she feels like her needs aren't being met. So when you blowing up, what are you hoping that's going to happen? Are you hoping that you're going to blow at them and they're going to be like, oh, you're completely right, babe. Like this, I never looked at it that way. Let me like make all the changes that you're screaming at me about and blaming me about right now. Like what is it that you hoping to get? And then once you figure out what it is that you want to get out of the situation, how can you get it without yelling? Because there is a way that like yelling and screaming and throwing shit is absolutely not. That's if a kid did that. What would we call that? We call that a temper tantrum, wouldn't it? So why? Because you grown. That's no longer a temper tantrum. Even if the kid is trying to express like a need that they're trying to express a need, or perhaps just a want, but the way that they communicate it, because they don't know another way to communicate, is to like get violent and scream and shout and do all these other things because they don't know any other way. So what do you want, and how can you get it without throwing a temper tantrum?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's a good point.
Because obviously because the temper tantrum obviously doesn't work because you're still yelling about it. Like if it worked, because usually you scream because I've been asking and prodding and I'm trying to different things to try to get what my needs met, and it's not getting met, so I'm escalating. So the fact that you're already up here means that you haven't communicated your needs in a way that is receptive to your partner enough for them to receive it. So like evaluate that methodology, don't just scream it louder.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point. I read a comment underneath of the video that went viral about like, I'm trying to time it right. I'm trying to figure out when is the best way to say it. How is the best way to say it? And somebody put underneath that video that's manipulative.
You talking about art?
Uh-huh. And I was going to give advice that I guess could also be interpreted as manipulative, but I also wonder if it's just advice that is like good advice to use because it's effective. Mm-hmm. And so the thing that I'm thinking is like, one, the strategy that they say works the most is when you're asking your partner for help. Mm-hmm. I need your help with taking out the trash. Right. I need your help with trying to make sure that, my coffee is ready in the morning. Like whatever the thing is that you are frustrated about, and those are relatively small, like material examples, but like whatever the thing is that you're frustrated about, like asking your partner to be a teammate to work with you to help resolve the issue usually has better results because it's like, oh, you need me? I want to feel needed. Like I want to help you. I don't want you to suffer. Like I love you. I care about you. I want you to be good. If you feel useful. Exactly. You invite me in to help. I want to help. We're good. The other thing that I'm thinking though is you learn what works best to get your partner to do what you want them to do. Like over time, I think like,
whoa, that sounded wild. You learn how to get your partner to do what you want them to do. Oh, it sounds manipulative, but I get what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, I guess what I'm saying is, that there is a best approach in order to get your desired results from your partner because you know them. Like, whether it be like, I got to talk to them at this point in the day when their mind is most clear, or I got to talk to them while we're on a walk. I think we talked about this on past episodes. Like, okay, it's easier for them to process, tune in, and hear my emotions while our bodies are in motion. And we're not sitting face to face, but rather we're like walking the same path. That makes it a little bit easier for them to hear me. So I think I can understand how those things could be interpreted as manipulative, but it also is about like, a part of effective communication is thinking about your audience and like how your audience will best receive your message and the most effective way to communicate your message. So it's not manipulation. It's like influence. It's like using your influence for good in order to be able to achieve the desired results, which is both of you being happy.
I agree. Both getting what you need and want out of the situation. You gotta work together in order to get there. Yeah, I don't think it's. I guess I don't think that is manipulative by trying to use the information that you've learned from your partner and and knowing how they operate in order to better deliver something to them in order to to get an idealized outcome without necessarily hurting them or stepping on their toes or what have you. I don't think that's a manipulation.
Yeah.
All right. I feel like do we have anything more about on this one topic?
No.
Okay.
You got another video?
Yeah, we got another video.
Hit the transition.
Bing bong.
I was trying to make a face like I was doing all the sounds at once. I probably just look crazy on video. Don't clip this.
Partners that seem really intimate. Like they seem like, damn, they must be f***ing each other brains out. But it's because of how they interact when they're not having sex. If you're not making him feel that way outside of the bedroom, then that's one of the reasons that they only want to stay in the bedroom with you. And y'all don't be having enough skills to be in the bedroom as often as you do, which is why y'all be taking and popping these pills and Don't get me wrong, a honey night is always, every now and then. Welcome. Women can sometimes be very aggressive, and there is a lot of pressure on men to perform sexually. I don't think that we discuss enough how that brings anxiety, and it takes a lot of the pleasure out of sex for men.
I know a number of men that are in their 30s that are using supplements just to perform. Married men at that too. Through sex, a man experiences affection, safety, security, being desired, being wanted, being respected, being validated. Like, you're not just rejecting us having sex, you're rejecting me feeling those things.
I'm fine as when I walk by. If I can't tell on your face that I'm fine as and we have gotten comfortable, and you should go somewhere with men so you can remember when you walk back in this house that I'm fine as.
Okay, go ahead, sexologist.
I don't know. Is it not? Or is she a sexologist?
I think so.
I've
seen her before.
Okay.
Okay.
Not just another sex pod. That's where. That's a podcast. Yeah.
Shout out to y'all.
Mm-hmm. And then the guy talking, he's a
therapist.
He's a therapist. I think he's like a couples therapist or something like that. Pretty well known. I think he's out of New York. Yeah. What do you think?
I think they're right. I thought it was interesting.
Ooh.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Tea. Okay, I think that they're right. I thought it was interesting how she brought up the male pressure to perform.
I think that's what makes it. I think that what gives it the emphasis, the impetus, or whatever. If a dude said it, they would have fucking clowned him.
I don't know if that's true,
but yeah, go ahead.
But I do think that that's a good point, and something that I admittedly have had an expectation of as well. Of like, oh, if you're a man, you're supposed to want to have sex 24/7. All the time. I'm supposed to just be telling you no, beating you off with a bat because you're just going to be so ready to go all the time. And that is true for some men. Like, we all have different desire. Everybody has different sex drive. And sometimes it's like a part of that, I guess, like trope is the fact that women are typically lower desire. So like you get this idea that like, oh my gosh, like, huh?
That's not true though.
That's not true. You get this idea that that's going to be the case. And so if that is the idea that women walk into relationships with and men walk into relationships with this idea as well, because we're raised in the same society, I can understand why that pressure to perform is high.
Yeah, absolutely. The pressure to perform is phenomenal for guys. I think women come into it with the expectation of like, I'm going to be made to feel good. And men come into it like, I got to put it down. So I think it's two different mentalities going into. So to his point, it's like that pressure sometimes can make it difficult to really be in the moment and sometimes even perform. That's happened to me. I'm gonna be 100% honest. The pressure to perform is so real that when you said that part about like popping pills in order to like be able to perform accurately because you be in your head, I'm like, man, I gotta like. Because sometimes I just need the one. I just need like if I can get it down one time, I don't need this shit no more. I've built up the confidence and I'm good to go. So that's happened to me before where I was like, I'm just go ahead and chew it out real quick. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm gonna perform, do my thing, and then like, all right, cool. The pressure is off. I'm like, she knows that I can do my thing. Now I can kind of relax a little bit and then come back so to speak. On a more natural tip, I guess. But the pressure to perform, like it is very real. All the messaging that we get growing up is like, if you can't have sex, if you can't do it well, and of course, well, it's not. There's no rubric that's good across the bar. Yeah, like you ain't shit. And women talk. We know women talk. No, I'm saying they get mad at men for talking, but really the biggest gossip when it comes to the sex shit is women. Them crazy. So a BDR, a bad dick report, can tank your whole career before you even get it started. In your rookie year, you can take your whole future, sex career within that pool. That pool that you're swimming in. So the pressure is definitely immense. I definitely will acknowledge that for men is that, and that is true.
I wonder if because I heard him say that there are married men that he knows that feel that same pressure. Mm-hmm. But I wonder if that remains true or is true more so when you're having casual sex with people. Because I agree, like casual sex is not necessarily about the connection that I have with you or romance or wanting to be physically close to you. It's like, get the job done. Mm-hmm. You know what Bing time bong. It is. Bing bong. You clocked in. This your shift.
Yeah.
Do what you need to do, sweetie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, versus a loving, committed relationship where I want to connect with you. I want you to be here with me. I want us to both be enjoying this experience. Yeah, I want to experience pleasure, but like me experiencing pleasure, it doesn't mean as much to me as like us collectively experiencing pleasure. I want you to be here. I want me to be here. And I want it to be good for both of us. I don't want to walk away like, yeah, that was cool. Or like, okay, he did the best that he could. You know what I'm saying? Could with
what he got.
Yeah, like it's more important to me in a loving, committed relationship that the sexual experience is a shared sexual experience. Mm-hmm. And I think the performance anxiety part of it means that it's more so you clocking in, like you are doing what you can to make sure that the other person is experiencing pleasure, not for the sake of you just being a pleaser or like enjoying that. Like, cause there are people who are that way. Like I'm a pleaser. Like I'm going to enjoy myself more if you're enjoying yourself. Mm-hmm. And that energy is different, right? Because it really is like, ooh, you like the fact that I'm liking this and you getting excited because I'm getting excited. That's different than like, are you excited? Like, are you okay? Like, you good?
That's true.
Moan. So I know you're okay. Like, say something. I want to make sure you're okay. You okay? Yeah. It's like,
damn, it didn't. That definitely pulls from the experience. So that definitely
I'm
it's putting a lot of pressure on the woman on that one.
Yeah. Now I got to do something. Now we both got performance anxiety. Now I feel like I got to do something in order to soothe your anxiety and make sure you're okay. Mm-hmm. And it could be the case that like some of these women are selfish and are like,
there's a lot of pillow princesses out here.
Yeah. Sure. And like in a marriage where there's still performance anxiety, I couldn't imagine.
It happens. What? But here's the thing. I think that if I were to guess, I would think that the performance anxiety, I don't know, I could be wrong, but I'm feeling that it could be maybe a little bit more severe in the effects in the committed relationships. Because like if you just a jumper, I don't give a fuck. I'm like, you know what I mean? I'm just we getting it in, bing bang boom. If it happened, it happened. It don't. I kind of feel kind of bad, but like I ain't gonna see you again.
Okay, that's fair.
But like when I'm in a committed relationship, like there is the expectation is there. Mm. I like you only got a couple times where you can't come through before like they looking at you like what like. Are we not sexually compatible? Mm. And we don't want that. So we definitely want to make sure that the person that we choose that are, our lady I love, stuff like that we want to make sure that you like I want to make you feel like you made the correct choice.
Every time.
Multiple, as many times as I can feasibly get away with.
Okay.
And I'm not saying that, it's right. And it's definitely not a healthy mindset to go in if it's causing you like distress or it's causing like issues in that manner. But I'm just like highlighting that I feel like the expectation is a little bit more, visceral, I guess, mm-hmm. when you are in a committed relationship. Like you can't be like, all right, well, bye. I'm gonna get me another one. Like this is the one. So you gotta make sure.
Well, I guess my thought process on that, because it is the one, you can have an off night. Something can go wrong. There's gonna be seasons in our relationship where sex looks different, and we have a conversation about it. You can communicate with me. We can talk about this. We can figure out what to do differently. We can discuss. We can be like, babe, that wasn't a hit tonight. Yeah, I was kind of tired. Oh yeah, me too. I was kind of tired. I'm so glad we had an opportunity to like connect in that way, but mm-hmm. like.
I agree with you.
Let's just.
It's mulligan that. We're gonna write this one off.
The record.
We writing this one off. You're writing this one off. Yes,
and we can move forward.
Yeah.
I guess my My concern is the performance anxiety in a long-term relationship indicative of a problem with the individual, like the man, or indicative of a problem in the relationship? Because I would start to take it as it's what's going on with us, not what's going on with you. What's going on with us that you can't relax here?
And I think that is a difference between that selfishness piece that we were speaking to, because a lot of times the man is just like, because you can't perform, that must be a you problem. There's nothing that the woman, or I as a woman am doing that could be contributing or putting barriers in place to make this a more difficult process. Versus like there's a woman who was like, at first it's like, the fuck going on with you? Like, you can't perform. I understand you might be stressed, whatever, but at a certain point it's like, be good. Like, is there something that, that's missing, or, what have you? And I think that's the difference within that selfishness part. But let me take a couple steps back. Let me take a couple steps back when you were saying that in a long-term committed relationship, and let's say you, over the years that you'll be together, I'm saying, to have 100% hitting average is fucking not possible without assistance, or you're a super soldier of some sort. So like, and that makes American. And I think that makes sense and it's true, but I don't think we get that until we're in it. You know what I'm saying? Like, from a guy coming into it, going into the relationship, we had come in with all these preconceived notions and baggage and I guess expectations that are placed on us, that we feel are placed on us, that we are expected to kind of to perform. And we won't know any differently until we come across that one person, or one person or two person, what have it be, that gives you that understanding. I was like, hey, like, I know that this happens, but like, I know this happens. There's like multiple reasons for it. Let's problem solve. Let's figure out what's going on, as opposed to being like, yo, you not shit. So like, it just takes the you ain't shit blame part to happen for that feeling and that thought process to get reinforced and becomes even harder to dislodge. Yeah. So I agree with you that like, once you're in a relationship, it's gonna happen. You're gonna have. I ain't gonna say like you're gonna be out here just like whiskey dicking it and shit like that. But it's like, there's gonna be some times where like the sex is gonna be like, God damn, boy, I feel like we did that. Yeah. Hey, we could have uploaded this. We could have made some money off this bit. And it's gonna be other times where it's like, bro, I'm giving you sympathy pumps at this point. Like, I ain't got it in me. I'm just here.
Not sympathy pumps.
Or something along those lines. It's not every time. Sex ain't gonna hit every time.
Or
to the same level.
Yes, there we go. I was going to say, because I don't think that it's a problem of if it hits or not. It's like that expectation piece. Yeah. Like, if you feel like sex should be video recording, OnlyFans
swinging from the rafters,
every single time.
That's wild.
That's a lot of expectation and a lot of performance anxiety to put on both of you. But if you have an expectation that I'm going to have a good time here, I'm going to get to be physically close with my partner, I'm going to get some pleasure, they're going to get some pleasure, that's a win. That's it. That's all you need to have as the expectation. Now, the level of pleasure, you know, the time that you get to spend, all of those kind of variables can increase the level of, I don't know, I guess excitement or overall enjoyment. Yeah, or post-coital like reflection. But I anticipate that every time it's going to be something good is going to come from it. Even if it's just the fact that I get to be so close to you. That's a privilege.
I love that.
I get to be, we don't do that every day. Like, it's not like every day you have that same level of intimacy with your partner. So even that alone is a privilege.
I love
something
that.
You should be grateful for.
And I think a lot of us guys need to make, a lot of us guys and perhaps even some women as well need to, start thinking about making that shift of like the goal of sex is the intimacy part, not necessarily like the orgasm, in the sense that, a lot of times I think a lot of guys don't, I guess, put a lot of emphasis on the emotional connection. When it comes of like the sex part, they just think of the physical. Like, I gotta make sure that you get to the big O. You got for both sides, and not really giving a lot of weight or consideration to the other parts that go into a healthy and a good sexual experience with with your partner. So I think as we are learning and growing on that thing, that will become more of the standard. And I just think, a lot of guys, I would say, of the millennials and before men, I think we came up under the, like, you gotta have that D game on swole. And then it's not until, like you said, you get into, it's not until you get into a healthy and a loving relationship that you like being in, that you start to recognize that, oh shit, there's different levels. There's different things that go into sex. Sometimes it is just physical. Even with your girl, you get that quick, that quick quickie, and that shit's fun. That shit fire. I could be fired too. And sometimes it's just like the intimacy being close and the time, and that's fire as well too. It's different. Sex, it doesn't always look. It's not all porn.
Yeah. And
I think that a lot of guys come in thinking like porn. That's sex, and that's not true. That's not sex. That's performance.
Exactly. And that's why you ass got performance anxiety. You think you need to be doing what you've seen people do. Mm-hmm. That's been your primary exposure to sex. And the same can be true of women. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, I expect that this is the way that sex looks. And that's usually not how sex looks. I'm not screaming my head off. I'm like, making all that noise and all this shit. Like, yeah. No, that's not how it works.
Yeah. How you feeling?
We're feeling good.
Feeling good, feeling great. Mm-hmm. Expectations. I feel like we're coming back.
I know. Expectations keep biting y'all in the ass.
Keep biting us, man. One day.
One of these days you finna learn.
Yeah, expectations are a killer across the board in every aspect of our lives. We definitely need to make sure that we are keeping an eye, being cognizant of these expectations, why they're there, how they got there, and whether or not they serve you and what you got going on and what you trying to have going on.
Yeah, for real. Because I think the other part of, and maybe this is true for women in some regards, I definitely think that women have, body insecurities. But I think for a man, like penis size stuff, like all of that, all these expectations that women have on how long a penis should be, what size a good penis is versus a not so good penis, and bring all that expectation into the room, I would imagine also create some additional performance anxiety on both parts.
Not only that, but the stamina aspect of it. You know what I'm saying? They're when I was coming up, it was coming up. They were expecting like your first sexual experience that you would be able to like be like sex guy, like you be able, not be a minute man. You got to be able to like perform and do like veteran level shit as a rookie, and that's a lot of pressure because that's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. No.
Sorry about it, sweetheart.
I was gonna say like if it did happen,
whoa,
someone had some mid.
That Reggie.
That Reggie.
Whoa.
If your thinging, that first one gonna be. Let's say pregame, it's gonna be quick. It should be quick. I think that. I feel like that should be
quickish.
Quick. It's gonna be quick.
I'm okay with a little. Hold on, slow down. That's good. Let me know, like, okay, this is fire. Let me know, but don't slow down and then actually do it. Come on now, get your mind right. Performance anxiety. You scared.
Yeah.
Think about what they say. Baseball bats.
All that, yeah, true. Football. Sure, but that, yeah. But in order for that to happen,
through it, breathe.
But because we don't get a lot of education around the realities of sex and what it's like and what it is, you don't learn those techniques, those strategies, those grounding techniques. I would say it's definitely those ground techniques until like you build up a little bit of experience and you learn, and then the people around you that are like your cohort start doing it, and you all start comparing notes and be like doing da 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 da. Perhaps if we would have real conversations, or dads take their sons aside and be like, hey, you know what I'm saying? The sex talk, the safety, health talk, but also let me put you on game, like what it's really like, what it is.
First, you should expect.
Yeah, like I'm not going to be able to talk you out of this shit because I know I was you. I know what it is. I'm here to confirm sex is fire. It feels great, but this is how you can maneuver, how you can manage, how you can, make sure that you're able to provide the best experience that you are personally capable of at the time moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
Because us Vasquez men, you know what I'm saying? We got to make sure we come through. We got to make sure we're doing the best that we can and within what we got, make sure we enjoying the moment, make sure everybody is leaving us satisfied. This is a customer service base. And it is very important that we get high ratings, that the experience is great. They leave with an experience. I'm just saying.
I don't know if I want you to have the sex talk with my child.
I'm trying to help the future generations. I'm trying to reduce the amount of women that's complaining about their dudes not being able to do, like not being selfish and stuff like that. I'm trying to do that, and I would hope that any future son I have, when they go out and they do their thing, they will inspire the woman that they're with to be like, oh my God, I need to step my game up. And then that goes on. I hope that you have a conversation with any daughters that we have, that way everybody comes away a winner. Everyone gets a participation trophy. You know, this is making me think. At work this week, they asked me to share a quote, and I said, greatness, this is a quote that I have written down, greatness is beginning something that doesn't end with you. And that's what it sounds like you're trying to do. Each one, teach one. Each one, teach one. I'm just trying to I'm actually trying to pass down the active game, like what I learned through my life, which we're supposed to have been doing. Yeah. For some reason, we decided to skip the sex part. So I want you to be better than me. I want you to have the knowledge that took me decades to learn out the gate. You know, not the gate. I want you to have that knowledge, and so you can build on that, and then you can pass it down to your kids and pass it. And that's how we build great shit. Mm-hmm. I'm not just talking sex on this one. Mm-hmm. I'm with you. All right. I feel like that was your final piece of thought. So do you have anything? I ditto everything that you said. All right, that's cool. +1, +1, +1. +1. All right, y'all. Well, we are done with episode 99 of the Buffet Podcast. We thank y'all for sticking around and riding with us on this interesting, twisty, turny. I think we kind of went a couple different ways. It was cool. And we said, make them say, Make them say, The 9 to 9. The 9 to 9. All right, y'all. We'll see y'all next time, which will be probably in a couple weeks for the 100th episode. Make sure y'all tune in, share, and subscribe. If you haven't already, like and subscribe. You know what I'm saying? We love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Peace. Bye.